Welcome back to the Extra Rep Podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Liam.
So today we're going to be talking all about staying on track when you travel. So I know for a lot of people, a lot of businessmen that are sort of traveling around and doing stuff for work, this is going to be really, really useful for you guys. I know it's so easy to just jump off track as soon as you get to another, state or country. The options are limited and things like that. So we're going to talk about obviously how to prepare for that. So, what to pack, what food options, what you can do. We're going to obviously talk about making better choices on the go as well, just because you're going to be eating out more frequently, as we both know. Obviously, we're going to be talking about, the gym and staying active and what you can do, with your physical health as well. And then we obviously want to talk about, things you can do to sort of get back on track. Obviously, when you travel for work, it's probably a couple of days normally. Sometimes it might be a week or two, but normally they're these sort of mini 2 to 4 days where, you sort of get in, get out, fly in, fly out. So we're going to talk about some strategies, and then also, in the context of a year, seeing its importance, I guess. Yeah. So I guess to start with, Liam, what would you say, or what do you do with your clients when, someone's, businessman's going away for a day? What do they pack? What do they prepare? What do they do?
So I actually get them to plan for the flight first and foremost, because the flight, and especially if someone's a businessman, they're using the business credit card or they're flying business or whatever, they're offered everything. Here's your Byron Bay cookies, here's your champagne, here's all this. And just because it's there and you're just going on a 2-hour interstate flight does not mean you need to eat it. I will always say, just fast on the plane when possible. Now, look, we're talking realistic. Unless you're flying to Europe, probably eat something if you're traveling 20 plus hours on a plane. But fasting when traveling on a plane short distance, and honestly, it can really also help set skating rhythm if you're going to a different country. I just found that that's really beneficial. And then the other thing is just buy protein bars. There's certain protein bars like Fiber Boost bars. They're cold pressed ones. They don't have any shit in them. It's 20 grams of protein for like 140 calories, and they actually taste nice. It's just so easy to pack in your bag before you get to the airport, by the way, because the airport protein bars will be ridiculously expensive. I can tell you a story that I paid $10 at Hobart Airport for a 45-gram Musashi protein bar. $10 at the, what are those, W.H. Smith or whatever they're called?
I paid $9.50 in Hong Kong last week. The coffees were $8.50.
Oh my God.
$8.50 for a coffee in Australia.
Yeah. So plan ahead. Like, I get it. Like airports and flights, like you've got a lot of time to kill and there's a lot of waiting around, but don't give in to those urges.
I think one thing that, I have a lot of clients who, for example, will fly interstate and, they'll use the lounges and things like that.
Yep.
And, the lounges probably used to be pretty average, but now that, their buffet options, they're probably better than a lot of people think. Like, there's always some fruit there. There's probably some yogurt. You can probably get some scrambled eggs. Yes, there's probably a bit of fat and milk and whatnot in them, but you can make better options. Yeah. Like, it's so easy to just be like, oh, I'm going to have the full fry-up eggs, bacon, pork sausages, donuts, anything that's there. Just trying to find, almost trying to stuff your face with anything because, again, it's free. And the first time I went into a lounge, I was like, it's all free, so I'm going ham. And the second time you go in there, you're like, the food actually isn't that great. I was only excited because it was free.
That's the thing. Like the first time I ever got upgraded to business, I went into the lounge and got ginger beer and gelato and fucking everything. But we'll give a hack because now you and I, we've traveled in the lounge a few times now. Not seasoned veterans or anything, but we've come to know what's in there. There is lime sparkling water on tap, and it's delicious. What I do is I get my stainless steel bottle and I fill up my whole thing with it and bring it with me on the flight. For a lot of people that don't know, sparkling water and the minerals in it help blunt appetite. So it can be a real good hack.
Yeah, I think just going back to even just water. Like,
so
many people don't even pack water on a flight, and it's like, and you're asking the hostess, and it's like, that's a big, just pack a bottle.
Yep.
Again, come back to hydration, like even potentially some electrolytes, depending on when you're traveling and what's happening as well. But anything to keep you hydrated is obviously going to help you blunt your hunger a little bit more as well. And again, you're obviously trying to eat before you get on the plane, eat after. Again, for example, like we've got the Velocity Gold cards from our credit cards. So, when we've flown business, like the options they actually serve you now are quite good. They're semi-healthy. Yeah, you're not going to find out the calories in them, but normally there's some sort of meat, rice and veg or something like that. And they're normally pretty decent. They give you some fruit on the side and some yogurt or things like that as well, depending on, of course, the time
Yeah.
of the day you're flying.
I will say they serve free coffee on the plane as well. And
Yeah.
if you do fly business, I found this hack, and I don't know why I didn't know about it years ago. But they do decaf coffees on planes. So if you're flying at night time, you can get a decaf long black, tastes the exact same as a coffee, and that will just completely blunt any cravings or appetite.
Or like I said, if you're in the morning, double
Oh
espresso.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything
Load
like
up,
that.
get 4 of those coffees into you.
Yeah. So I think coming with like, things you can take on, obviously we've seen, protein bars are good, but potentially something like a beef jerky or something can be really good as well. People take nuts and stuff like that. Again, not that I'd say nuts are necessarily bad, but probably a lot of calories in there. Like I said, a lot more
700
fats.
grams in a trail mix, and then
Exactly.
also in the jerky, you need to be cautious of the salt and sugar.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of those ones at the airport. You're like, oh, Jack Links, what's this? It's some smoky barbecue flavor, and it's got just as much sugar as protein. Got to be careful.
Yeah. I think, like I said, it goes back to the duration of the flight, doesn't it?
Yep.
If it's only a couple of hours, you're probably going to be fine. Just suck it up. But like I said, if you go to Europe or something, you take the chicken or beef, whatever they offer you. Take it, cop it, and just move on. Try and just keep making those sort of healthier choices. I guess when we talk about obviously getting there, you're transiting between Ubers and airports, and you're probably on the run between meetings potentially, or even maybe if you're on a holiday, but you still want to stick to your goals. Would you recommend, for example, I'd say to a client, if you can, go straight to a supermarket or a 7-Eleven or something and try to just get a few pre-made meals, even to just like pop in the fridge, pop in the freezer, just because you're probably going to be called out from time to time.
Yeah. Look, a lot of my clients, they guiltily enough admit to me they just go straight on the Uber Eats and find the nearest local. But look, they try and make the best choices as well. It really depends, I've had clients travel to like New York and it's horrible, like in terms of like the food options and bloating and food quality. But then I've had clients that travel to like Thailand and Malaysia for work, and it's really easy to just get a cheap chicken and rice and they're happy.
Yeah, I think like it is hard because you go back to countries. It's like different
Yeah.
countries are going to have different things. I've never been to America, but I wasn't at our small is like their sorry, our large is their small or something.
Yeah, it's
which
crazy.
is ridiculous.
Yep.
And like I said, but I think if you look hard enough anywhere, you're always going to find a better option. Not necessarily going to be the best option all the time,
Yep.
but you will be able to find a better option. Pre-packaging some protein bars, some fruit. For example, like I take my whey protein little sachets. You can get them from Coles. I take them with me as well. Or you can just put some, a couple of scoops in when you're going away somewhere, and I just use that as a meal for the day when I know I'm going to consume more calories throughout lunch or dinner. So breakfast might be a shake and a coffee, and then lunch or dinner, you've got more calories to sort of play with there too.
You can get shakes from Coles, like sachet shakes.
Yeah, there's like little
didn't know
it's
that.
the Coles protein, but they have other ones. They're like N1 and all those other ones.
Gotcha.
You can literally just get like I know bulk nutrients. I get them for my clients in their welcome packs. You just get sachets and it's like little sample sizes. So I just use them when I travel. I'll just whack them in.
Yeah.
I find they're very, very useful
Very
because that way
helpful,
you're not trying to fill it up and carry a little tub and trying to measure it out and it just gets all messy. You just whip it up, bang, straight in.
There's the
shove it
risk
up.
of it breaking in the while traveling as well, which I've heard many horror stories of people that bring protein with them.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, like I said, it's 2025 now. Like things are getting better in like airports and stuff as well. It used to all just be shit food, but now you can always find like a healthier option.
There's always a grilled there. There's always like I know in Queensland airport there's like those live eats or I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
There's like the healthier options. There's always a boost. You can get a protein smoothie with fresh fruit and stuff.
Sushi.
Is it the best option? Maybe no, but like compared to what else is on the menu, you don't need airport beers. I'll just say that. Like you don't need airport beers just because you've got time to kill.
Yeah. I think like even, going to like the extreme of like McDonald's, right? Like you want to go to McDonald's, like that's fine. You could still, for example, grab like 3 grilled chicken patties or something like that for like, 40, 45 grams of protein. There's going to be a bit of fat. Yeah, they might taste a bit like rubber. But what I'm saying is if you're stuck at McDonald's, that's probably going to be a good option you could probably have to still save a few calories. I'm not advocating for it, but it is something that when you're stuck and you don't have much else, I know some of my clients go rurally, and when they go rurally, it is literally just Macca's, KFC, or Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
And it's all those small towns that all they have. So sometimes you do have to adapt in that way as well.
I can tell you the last time I ate Macca's and it was at an airport, it was 2018 in Greece in Athens. and I'm walking around and everything's in a different language. But McDonald's had the board where you can pick and choose your options. So I just got like egg McMuffins and a coffee, and it was fine.
Yeah. It just depends what you get at the end of the
Exactly.
day. And again, like I said, Macca's have their menus. You can have a look at the calories. You can have a look at the kilojoules. You can have a look at the protein. Again, is it going to be the greatest protein in the world, greatest quality? No, we know that. We're not stupid. But again, if you're stuck and that's the only option you have, like I said, either fasting it out or just having a shake, or if you have to go to somewhere like a McDonald's or KFC, picking a better option is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah,
And I
they
think that's the biggest
should
thing we're
be
needing
the
out.
last alternative, always the last alternative.
Yeah, for sure. But I think, unfortunately, for most people, they become probably the second or third. So it's something that, keep that little trick up your sleeve as well. I think when we talk, going back to sort of restaurants and that, we've obviously talked about that in the previous podcast. So listen to that if you haven't already. But high protein option, least amount of greens as possible. If you can get sauces on the side as well or something like that, that'd be fantastic. And if you can try and get some sort of vegetable in, I think are the four sort of main things you can sort of take away from anywhere you eat out.
Yeah.
And again, trying to not mix high carb, high fat foods. So if you get a high protein and high fat or high protein and high carb, I think that's sort of your best option because that way you're just going to reduce the calories as well there, I think.
But I mean, there's also planning ahead from where you travel, because if you've booked a flight, you've obviously booked accommodation, and you can obviously just go on Google Maps and look around the hotel and see what options are there and plan ahead.
For sure. And the hotel as well, like,
Yeah.
does it have a kitchen? Does it have a microwave? Like,
Yeah.
most hotels these days are going to give you a fridge and a microwave.
Yeah.
So something really, really easy. Again, go to 7-Eleven, get some Muscle Chef meals or, some shakes, some snacks, like anything you can do to keep you through, some fruit to keep you satiated as well.
Yep.
Like, it is one of those things where, yes, of course, it is a lot harder because you're subject to a lot more, like, eat this, just have this, it's all convenient. But if you do, like I said, make the plan before you leave, you can definitely stay on track.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not going to be perfect, but
But
you
it's
can stay within a few
it's just
hundred calories.
planning. That's all it is. Like, just make the effort to plan, and you will find the answers that you seek if you just look for them. A lot of the times people are just ignorant, and they'll just decide when they get to the airport what they're going to have. Whereas it's like, hey, how many times have you been to Melbourne Airport? Oh, many times. Do you know the layout? Actually, if I think about it, yeah, I know that the Hungry Jack's is there, but I know around the corner is the Grilled and all this stuff. It's like, if they just think about it, then you can plan ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I think going back to training when you're away, that's probably one thing that I think for a lot of people gets missed.
Yep.
Obviously, we know gyms probably, any times are great, but, depending on where you're traveling, if you're traveling rurally, it's going to be a lot harder and you're probably going to go to the local gym or the hotel gym, even worse, and you're stuck with 2 treadmills and a bike and it's called a hotel gym. But normally there is going to be something that you can do. And that is back when, obviously your training is going to be affected somewhat because generally speaking, the weights are going to be a lot lighter. But there's some sort of strategies you can use. Like for a lot of my clients, like potentially I'll use obviously higher rep ranges with a lot longer eccentrics, pauses, 1.25 reps, just more circuit based work. Anything to really just sort of keep you moving or even just going out for a couple of runs.
Yep.
I think they're the best sort of options you can really do.
Well, with my clients, we actually discuss, because they obviously know where they're going to be, they know the area, everything. So we actually discuss first and foremost, okay, are you actually going to have access to a gym or a hotel gym? If not, then we won't program accordingly. What we're going to do is we're going to get some bands, and travel bands are really good. And also, this is a travel hack, playgrounds. Playgrounds have dip bars, chin-up bars, all that stuff, monkey bars. Like, you can do so much. You can attach a band to it. You can do tricep extensions. Like, there is so much that you can do if you just look for the option. Like, we are incredibly resourceful and lucky this day and age. We have everything at our fingertips, whether it be food, you can order anything off an app. If you need a band quickly, you can get it in 24 hours off Amazon and ship straight to your house before you leave. Like, we can really have anything at our fingertips, and we're very lucky for that. So it's like, there really isn't any excuses. It's just planning ahead.
Yeah. I think a lot of people will be familiar with playgrounds after COVID as well.
yeah.
It's where I spend a strong majority of my time, apart from stealing half the gym's equipment.
We're here in Melbourne, so we can only talk for us Melburnians who suffered through it.
Nice, 200 and something days altogether?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whatever it was. Anyway, it was good. Got to walk more, it was real fun. It was shit house. Anyway, we got through it. And when we talk more about staying active, I think walking, again, underrated secret weapon you have. Obviously, when you're traveling for work, you might be sitting down a bit more often, but you're probably going to be entertaining clients. I think one good thing is always knowing that, like, I can, for example, if I'm the one booking the restaurant, it's like, oh, I can make it a 15-minute walk from the hotel instead of, right at the
Yep.
bottom of the hotel. I can make it this a bit further. I can go for a walk. I can get up earlier.
Mm.
All these little things, where you're just adding steps, going to the gym, going on the treadmill, whatever it may be. Again, just trying to do as much activity as you can because we
Yep.
already know you're going to be sitting on the plane, which is obviously going to knock that
Mm.
out to begin with. But the more activity you can get in, we'll keep harping on about it, but the better.
But at the same time, it's like you go to a new destination, you kind of want to explore it.
Exactly.
So you can just walk around the city mindlessly or the coast or wherever you went to, and you find that, yeah, you can just discover a whole lot of things there and you've done a shit ton of steps at the same time.
Yeah. And I think you don't realize you're doing it as well. Like
Mm.
when I went to Hong Kong last week, it was the same thing. No idea. I was like, oh, we'll climb up this mountain. Sweet. We'll do this. Sweet. We'll go back there. Sweet. I'll look at 9 p.m. I've done 27,000 steps, and I'm
Jesus.
like, oh shit. So but there's one thing you just don't think about it. You're walking to lunch, you're walking to breakfast, and one thing, again, when you're for work, it's a bit different because you're probably going to be more stressed.
Or taking Ubers and
Yeah,
stuff.
but when you're in a holiday, again, ditch the Uber if it's, a 15, 20, 30-minute walk, and just be more active. Because chances are you're just going to consume more calories than you normally would.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good sort of, what's the word? A good completion of all those sort of three things together. But I think the main takeaway we want to give you guys here, going to be a bit of a quicker episode, but it's just about don't stress about being like perfect, especially when you're traveling. Like it's probably not going to happen unless you're planning it to a T. And that depends on how meticulous you're going to be, how seriously you want to take your body composition results, and if you've got a coach, what they've sort of recommended as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, your plane could get delayed. You could end up at the airport for 8 hours. You might have to get dinner there. Like, anything can happen when you're traveling because there's so many factors that are just outside of your control. So it's always just focusing on what you can control. Like, okay, yes, you may be stuck at somewhere for a period of time, but you can control if you're going to eat or not.
I think, the control's the main thing because a lot of people will use, working away as an excuse to just eat what I want.
Yeah.
And because it's almost
It's a break from the environment.
yeah, and it's almost like a shield of like, oh, my partner and my kids or all these people don't know, but I'm gonna have a sneaky treat here because no one's watching,
Exactly.
the person you are when no one's watching is who you really are. So I think that's very interesting. If you're stuffing your face behind the scenes, I think that's something that you need to address and get the mindset right about. Okay, I really don't need to eat this. Of course, if you plan calories for it, go nuts, go for your life. But you just need to be organized, be able to make that choice, be happy with the choice, and then be able to move on from that back to your routine. If it's a choice you're not, you're like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Beautiful. I think that pretty much sums up everything when we talk about traveling. Again, I've got a bit of a travel cheat sheet as well. So if any of you guys want that, that's what I give my clients in terms of, best foods and things like that when you're traveling. So feel free to click down on my Instagram and I can send that through to you guys as well. Liam's probably got something as well that I'm sure he gives to his clients. So feel free to message either of us and we'll be able to help you out, especially if you're someone who, travels really often and you're just not sure what to do and you're trying to obviously look after your body composition and get the best results possible. Anything else to add?
Just when you do travel, you have so much downtime. A lot of people don't realize, like they look at the days and the hours and all that and they get stressed about, different location. But a lot of people actually have a lot of downtime and there's a lot of time you can dedicate to your health and fitness or certain choices.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great place to leave it. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you for listening in. I hope you guys have got some value out of the episode. Again, if you need to contact us, if you've got any questions for the podcast or us, you can look at all our socials and all the information below. But until next time, guys, we'll see you in the next podcast.
See you guys.